If you're looking to buy a home in St. Petersburg, I'm going through 10 really essential tips today that are really going to help you out when looking to buy a home in St. Pete. So stick with me. As always, I'm Garrett Lister. My information is down in the description below. Feel free to reach out with any questions. I'm here to help you guys out. So let's move forward. First thing is your budget. I'm just going to touch on this briefly because I've touched on this a lot in the past, but go to a local lender that you trust. Bring them all your documents. They'll give you your debt to income ratio, and that'll really give you a good gauge of what kind of house you can buy. And if you need to save up a little more or bring your income up higher, they'll tell you that for the house that you really want. Secondly is you're going to want to choose the right neighborhood for you. St. Pete has a lot of different diverse neighborhoods and a lot of different cultures here. So go around and figure out what neighborhood fits your lifestyle best. That's really close to where you work or really close to the beach if that's important to you. I always recommend that you go by in the morning and at night just to kind of gauge how loud a neighborhood is typically. A lot of people just go by once and they think, oh, it's perfect, but don't realize that maybe the neighbors kind of throw parties at nights. But if you're really considering to buy a home, then this is well worth the time and effort put in just to investigate what the neighborhood's like. Third thing is to kind of think in terms of long term. Are you going to have kids? Is this close to where you work? If you're going to have kids, you want to anticipate that when going in to buy a home. If you plan on staying there for a long time, how many bedrooms you need, how many bathrooms. So that's a really big thing to consider when you go to buy your home. Number 4 is something good for you to know, but if you do have a good realtor, they're going to help you out with this a lot, is knowing if you're in a buyer's or a seller's market. If you're in a buyer's market, then you have a lot more negotiating power. You can look at houses that are out of your range and maybe come in a little under that price, and they might be receptive to considering your offer. But if you are in a seller's market and you see a home at the price point you've got, you might have to go over it if you really like the house or if it's a really hot seller's market. 5 is something you want to kind of start with at the beginning of the process, but it is getting the pre-approval letter from your lender. Make sure it's a reputable lender and you get a really strong pre-approval letter. That'll really help your odds out when you go to submit your offer for one of these homes. Number 6 is to consider the resale value of the home. You might have found your perfect dream, beautiful home, but if it's in a neighborhood that's a little sketchy or a little undesirable, when you go to sell the house, it might have dropped a whole bunch from when you bought it and the home was perfect, because the neighborhood is really what's going to drive the value of your home. Number 7 is really going to make all these steps a lot easier, is if you have a great, really qualified real estate agent in your corner, someone you trust and can talk to about your needs. If you don't like a property, you feel okay telling them, this isn't for us, let's move on. A lot of the times when people get a realtor and the realtor is really excited about the home and they show it to them, a lot of people don't have the heart to tell them, no, I don't like this home, let's move on. But just find a realtor that you trust and you're really comfortable with, and that'll make your home buying experience a lot better. Next is to get an inspector to inspect the property before you commit to buying it. A lot of times in the contract, you'll have 10 to 15 days to have your inspection done. And in that time, you want to get a really good inspector in there that's not affiliated at all with the seller of the home, and make sure he goes through everything, the plumbing, the electric, the roof, all that good stuff to make sure the home you're moving in is not going to have a bunch of problems. And if it does have a couple problems, these are things that you might be able to go over with your realtor and say, hey, I kind of want to see if they'll bring down the price a little bit because of this problem with the roof or this problem with the plumbing. Take $5,000 off the price. I've got a plumber I know who can fix it for a couple thousand. That might be a way there that you can get in your home a little cheaper and save you a couple bucks. 9 is one that I typically don't deal with too often because I just tend to avoid them, is HOAs. If you are buying a property with HOA fees and HOAs associations, make sure that you're comfortable with all the rules. A lot of them don't let you paint your house certain colors or do this or that, or have certain plants or trees, stuff like that. Just make sure you're comfortable with all those rules and all those guidelines. If you really want to live in the house, my advice is to stay away from them if you can. But if you really love the property and you don't mind the rules, just double check to make sure everything is all right with you. Last tip, number 10, is to make sure that you're comfortable buying the home. Take your time. Even if it's a seller's market and you've got to act fast, put a lot of mental energy into just going over it. Is this really going to be all right? Is my budget in line? I'm not going to be stressed about the payment every month. Go over all the factors you can think of in your head, the commute to work. Take your time. Really put a lot of thought and energy into all aspects of your life, how it's going to affect your hobbies, your work, your life with your others. Just Give it a lot of time. Don't feel rushed. If a realtor is making you feel rushed, they might not be the realtor for you. If anyone in the process is making you feel rushed, that's definitely a red flag. There might be something wrong with the property they don't want to disclose. Just take your time. It's a huge purchase, so make sure you're very, very comfortable before you move forward. That's it for our 10 tips. I hope to help somebody out there. And if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. All my information is down below. Have a good one, guys.